Well, we're on a little adventure today. Here with my friend Drake. Hey guys, Sarah from Ryan's Outdoor, and today I'm here with my friend Drake, as you just saw. And I'm actually a little bit south today. Most of the time I fish, I like drive up somewhere in North Georgia, but today I headed south with my friend Drake, and we're at a pretty cool place. Like, you gotta walk through all these old buildings and stairs to get to the river here. But we're going after some shoal bass under this little dam. I'm fishing a new river that has a lot of shoal bass in it. I've never fished here before. And the water, it looked pretty good today. It thunderstormed a little bit here last night, but the water, I mean, it looks fine. It's maybe a slightly murkier than it would usually be, but we can definitely still catch some fish out of it today. It's not like blown out or anything. And anyway, I'm at the dam here. We're gonna get started fishing. I'm starting off with a big chopo, like a bigger one than I usually use. I think it'll be better at this spot. All right, we made it to the actual dam, and the water actually looks really good. I mean, it's plenty clear. I'm gonna be tossing around this chopo, hopefully getting on some shoal bass. Got one. There we go, got a fish. Finally got one. It's a little one. Little shoaly. I switched from the chopo. All right, well, I was using the chopo up near this dam, and the reason I was using the bigger one is because I thought that water would be so loud that it probably wouldn't really draw up the fish as much. And I think it's just too loud to be using a chopo that's trying to get fish because of its sound, pretty much. So I put on a little square bill crankbait. I do have a rod with braid, which is not ideal. I may go back to my car and switch rods eventually, but for now, I'm just sticking with this rod. And I've got a little square bill crankbait that I caught my first fish of the day on. So we got the skunk out of the boat. It might be a tiny fish, but I'll definitely take it. All right, well, since we got such a small one, we can pretty much only go up from here. So hopefully we'll be getting on some bigger ones today. But beautiful fish, man. Those bars really come out on camera sometimes on the GoPro. There he goes. Whoa. Jeez, what was that? The camera might have gotten that. I don't know if that was a shoaly or what. It could have been like a big carp or something, but there's a big old fish that I saw that went right over that little sand patch right there. That was a shoaly that was huge. I don't know if it was a shoaly though. Probably something else. Oh, got a fish. Right there, right there. Nice. It's kind of a random cast. It's not bad either. Oh, come on. Pretty good shoaly. Okay, I'll take it. Oh, come on. There we go. I don't know, I mean, like a probably 14 and a half inch shoaly, around a pound, not bad. I mean, they love the current. Like that cast, I really wasn't that confident in, but he was just kind of under some rocks right there. But I'm definitely glad I made that cast. This is what we came here for. This is no giant, but it's definitely kind of a lot more respectable than that last one I caught. All right. There's one last look at that fish. My GoPro died like right after I caught the fish, so I'm just gonna film the release on my phone here and then get another battery in my GoPro so you can hopefully catch the next catch on film, or well, the whole release and everything. All right, buddy. Ooh, there he goes. A fish? Oh, I do have a fish. What the heck? I barely cast it. Like I wasn't even really paying attention. Oh my gosh. I was hardly paying attention. It's about the same size. Maybe slightly smaller than that last one. It's about the same length, I think. Just maybe a little skinnier. Yeah, no, he's definitely a little bit smaller than the last one, but not too much smaller. That was a weird cast. Like, I don't even know if it was on top of the water when he hit it or what. I was kind of like hardly paying attention. Sometimes you catch fish when you're least expecting it. But yeah, I haven't gotten anything from right under the dam. I've gotten them all just from the shoals kind of below the dam. All right, so this is another one that I have caught on the square bill. I mean, once I caught one on that, I haven't switched lures, and I don't plan to if it keeps catching fish for me. Drake got his first fish of the day over there. I was getting ready to leave, and then I think he caught one, so. Ooh, what is it? What do you have to say about your first catch of the day?
Louise.
Probably like 5 or 6 pounds.
Oh, at least.
Maybe pushing 7. There's a big snake. Jeez.
That's like a big 7 snake.
That's a giant. Oh yeah, it does look, it's just a little less bronze-like.
There you go.
You got one? All right, now Drake is catching them. It's another little guy, but still. Spotted bass. All right, well, Drake and I just got off the water. He's heading out right now. Drake did get a couple fish there at the end. I mean, I only caught 3, he caught 2, so definitely wasn't an amazing day out here, but I don't think this is gonna be the end of the video. I think I'm gonna show some other fishing I did recently at a new creek that a subscriber suggested to me, so here is the fishing that I did that day. Hey guys, it's Aaron from Aaron's Outdoor, and today I'm fishing a new creek that a subscriber recommended to me by the name of Matthew. So thank you to Matthew for showing me this fishing spot. And the creek we have today is like right over there. It's kind of hard to see because it's like super overgrown. It's a pretty urban creek. I mean, there's just like this giant park that it runs across, and then it kind of just goes through the woods and behind like a few like fast food businesses and stuff. So I think this could be a cool little spot. I did look at the creek farther down this park, and it looked pretty dang shallow, and then all of a sudden there's like a giant deep hole that probably had a lot of fish in it, but I went down the park because I think it might be deeper over here, and maybe it'll have more deep holes. But for the most part, this kind of looks like a floodplain, so there might be a lot of shallow areas with just some, you know, deeper areas that'll hold a lot of fish. Yeah, and here's the creek. I mean, it looks super shallow, like there would not be any fish in here, but my subscriber Matthew, he sent me a few pictures of some spotted bass he had caught here. One of them looked like it might have been like 2 pounds. I mean, which is a really solid fish for a creek. And he said he fished up this way, so that's where I'm gonna go first. And I just have the Berkeley Choppa with me right now. I'm hoping this will work. I mean, it is like 80 degrees, and this creek doesn't have many shady areas, so topwater might not be as good. And if it's not, I'll just go back to my car and get a different rod. But I think we'll definitely be on some fish today. But under this bridge is real shaded, so it seems like, ooh, oh, dude. I was about to say it seems like a fish would hit topwater. Oh, come on, I gotta get back in there. That looks like a decent fish. There's a fish, finally got one. Little bass. Man, he's fighting hard. I really hook set it on him. Shouldn't be coming off. All right, so I fished for about an hour with the Choppo. I mean, I went down pretty far. I mean, it's like there's just not that many deep holes here. Like, most of the creek is real shallow and probably doesn't really have bass in it. But then like these deeper holes, and I've seen a lot of these little spotted bass. So I did have one really good hit on the Choppo that y'all probably already saw under the bridge over there. Besides that, I had like 2 little hits that I may or may not have shown, but there we go. First little bass of the day, probably 12 inches, but not a bad size for a little creek like this. All right, I hope this guy didn't scare off the other fish under this bridge, because there were definitely more spotted bass under there, including some bigger ones. And something might have just surfaced over there, but let me let this guy go. Got him. Nice. I watched this fish eat it. This is a Nico Helgramite. Not something I use a lot. This is something that John uses a ton from Creek Fishing Adventures. And it's a lure, like, I've caught a handful of bass on it, a handful of fish on it, but I just don't use it a ton. I don't have a ton of confidence on it. But this is one of the bigger ones I've seen out of this hole. He might be a pound or close to it. But that was pretty cool. Like, most of the fish that I've seen swimming around and casting my lure to haven't reacted much. That guy just nailed the Helgramite. Which I casted it over there a bunch where I saw some other fish earlier and didn't get any bites, which was surprising, but I did get this guy. All right, well, that gives me some confidence. I think I'm about ready to go drive down to another bridge that goes across this creek, just to explore some more new water. But I will take that little spotted bass, definitely close to a pound there. Well, that creek wasn't great. I mean, I caught like 2 bass out of it and like 2 little sunfish. It was cool that I did catch a couple spotted bass under that bridge, but I don't really think that's somewhere I'm gonna go back to. I mean, it is cool that a subscriber told me about it and I was able to go there and catch a couple of fish, but it just wasn't an amazing spot. So I probably won't be back there. But this spot, I mean, there are some videos of, the first spot I was at in this video on YouTube of people just catching like giant shoal bass here. And I'm sure they're in there, but it is a Tuesday and we saw at least 10 other fishermen today. I think this place just gets crazy pressured, and unfortunately, like, it looks like it gets kind of trashed. Like, there's a million worm cartons in the water. There's a bunch of like beer cans and lures in the water, like soft plastic lures. So it's definitely a pretty pressured spot. So I'm not too surprised that I only caught 3 fish today, but it'll probably be worth coming back to eventually. But this spot is definitely not at the top of my list of places to come back to this. But I still had a fun day today and caught a few fish. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button down below and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. But I'll catch y'all on that next video. Thanks for watching.